So something I'm asked about all the time is how to overcome blocks and limiting beliefs in your business. Now, I think probably the biggest difference when you have a business compared to when you work for somebody and you're an employee is that how you feel affects your income. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But let's just imagine this scenario. You work for somebody else, you have a fixed salary. You can show up, you can be feeling rubbish, you can be doing the absolute minimum, scraping just below the surface, no one really notices what you're up to, you'll still get paid the same. You try doing that in your own business, you'll find that you do not make the same revenue as you have done previous months. So how we feel affects our income when we are the business. Okay, fact. So we come up with all these limiting beliefs. Whatever level you're in business, it doesn't matter if you're starting out finding your first 2 or 3 clients, or whether you're smashing £15,000 months. Each stage, each level, you will come up with a block. You will find things hard, you will self-sabotage, you will make it much harder than it needs to be, you'll talk yourself out of doing things, you'll tell yourself that you're not cut out for this, that other people are better, etc., etc. So these blocks are real, and these blocks really, much more than strategy, is what stops people from growing. Because the strategy is fairly simple. Know who your clients are, be where they are, show up regularly, make offers. Yes, you need to get good at sales as well, but that is quite a small thing. It's quite a small part. How you feel, your energy, how you're showing up is really the biggest thing that I think we should be thinking about in our businesses. So we've got these blocks, or as one of my mentors once put it, and I love this expression, Kimberly, I'm sure you won't mind me borrowing this, the silent handbrake. Like we pull up the silent handbrake, and that's really stopping our progress. So we've got these blocks. How are we going to move past these? Well, there's 2 things that I like to do. One, I like to do what I call a mental declutter. So if I'm setting a new goal, or this is something I do every single day, I look at my goal for the month and my goal for the year, and I go, okay, how do I feel about that? And sometimes I'll be like, this is going to be easy. Even if it's a big punchy goal, I can do this. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, it doesn't matter. You want these blocks to come to the surface. So I'd like to do a mental declutter. I like to write down all the reasons that I think something's hard, I can't do it. So get it all out on paper. And when I've got this like massive page of negativity, I can then go through and go, is that really true? That's, I don't have time. Is it really true? That's whatever the block for that day is, or that week is. And I find just simply getting them out on paper, there's a power when you write down. And there's a really good expression I've heard, I can't think of it, something like when you ink, you think, or something like that. But like the idea is when you write it down, it takes the thoughts out of your mind, and it really takes away their power. So I like to have it written down. I like to go through and just simply ask myself, is this honestly true? Okay. And then I like to see, is there a common thread? So why do I think that I can't do that? What does that actually protect me of? Is it deep down, I'm worried people will say no to me? Is it deep down, I don't want to feel hurt or crushed if I don't hit that goal? And then I like to try and trace that back. Like, where does that come from? And then quite often you can see that it's probably not even your belief. It's probably not even your thought you took on, or it's something that you can trace back and go, oh, actually, that just meant something at that moment in time. It doesn't need to keep meaning something 30, 40, 50 years later. So get the negative out, try and trace it back. And then the other thing I do for overcoming blocks is like the opposite end of the spectrum, flooding myself with positivity. I like to see myself doing whatever it is I want to do before I've done it. So I go there in my mind. Visualization, so incredibly powerful. There's a reason it's used in almost every sporting field. There's a reason it's so well used for high performance, because it works. And if you follow me regularly, you may have heard me talk about when I ran my first conference in 2019. I was really organized. I booked some amazing speakers back in like 2018. And then I did nothing for ages. And I also had a baby, so I was a bit busy, but I got a bit like stuck with how I was going to market my conference. I felt really overwhelmed. How on earth was I going to sell all these tickets? But the one thing I did do was choose my outfit. I bought a dress that I knew I was going to wear on the day, and I just kept seeing myself saying, welcome to the conference, and introducing my first amazing speaker, Sue Dyson, and seeing that again and again, and literally having the dress there in my wardrobe. I then started to see how I could take action, and it stopped me being so overwhelmed, because in my head, I'd done it, it was happening. And that enabled me to have the faith and the conviction, sold all the tickets. It was a joy, it was a pleasure. Had I not been visiting that in my mind, I think I'd have just stayed stuck and probably cancelled it. And yeah, I felt really disappointed, and what a shame, because all those amazing delegates who came would have missed out on these fantastic speakers. So 2 ways that I overcome blocks: get out the negativity, flood with positivity. And this is, visualization is one of my favorites. Affirmations, anything that tells you can do it, basically. It might be you giving yourself a pep talk in front of the mirror. It might be you recording affirmations. It might be you listening to your favorite song and dancing around the kitchen like nobody is watching and having the best time ever. It doesn't really matter. It's really important, though, that you let these blocks come out to the surface. You realize that they are there, because they are, you have this inner glass ceiling. So it's no good trying to just kind of keep bashing your head against it. You've got to acknowledge them. And then you can use those 2 strategies to overcome these blocks. And I'd love to hear which one you are going to be putting into place first. Because, as I said, every level, whether you're starting out or you're hitting your next big income goal, you will feel resistance. It's perfectly normal. It's really what you do with it that counts. Have fun with these ideas, and I will see you very soon.